All right, gamers. It looks like it's time for some RGH podcast, baby. I got my boys KackisHD back in town, thank God. He's been away for like 9 years. Been really missing him. And we got True Vanguard ready to rip as well to talk about all things gaming. Yeah, honestly, it's been crazy. We had one episode with just us two, and then us two. And the only person that actually cares about this podcast and shows up is me. So that is pretty crazy. How did I get roped into that? I'm not sure. Actually,
I got nothing.
Yeah, actually, it was okay. I feel like gaming has been a little bit slow lately. We've got some news today.
There's a lot like on the horizon, like right around the corner, you know?
Yeah.
But the here and now is a little slow.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like one of those gaming lulls. I've seen a lot of other content creators talking about it, where it just feels like, you know, we're waiting for that next big thing. Will it be Lost Ark? Will it be a new Genshin Impact type game? Will it be, you know, Zelda Breath of the Wild? Like, there's games that exist. Halo, we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. It's just not here yet. We're just sitting playing a lot of the same old games. Some games we've been playing for years, like Apex, but they're still updating. And you know, apparently there's another Apex season coming soon.
Their player retention is killer.
Yeah, truly. So, you know, maybe that is going to be the meta long term in some cases as well, because, you know, they're not going to make Apex Legends 2 when they can just keep making Apex. And if you don't like it, well, that's one big studio and a lot of money and a lot of dev, power continuing to build that game. They're not going to move away from it. And so if you don't like it, hopefully someone else.
Well, even if there isn't the banger games, Tash has got the Boomba Rum, which is amazing. I've got the Crown Royale. TD has got his own little concoction down there. I don't know what's going on there.
This is probably a cocktail called The Last Word.
Is there bitters in it?
Oh, there's bitters. Of course there's bitters in it. Okay.
No, but I did get some new smoked black walnut bitters that I tried out last night in a smoked maple walnut old fashioned. It was so good, man.
Tash is putting rum into Coke, and that's it. You're like, I've got these smoked walnut extracts. I put that in, and I put it in a chamber, and I inject smoke. I
use my smoking gun. Yeah,
you do have a smoking gun. I
got a smoking gun.
I'm getting one. I'm getting a smoking contraption. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna try it. I've never done it before. Hoping for the best.
Wait, to smoke what? To smoke meat? What?
None of your business. No, it's like for smoking drinks, like a glass smoker. You could smoke a beer.
Are you just gonna
you could smoke a rum.
Are you gonna smoke a can of Twisted Tea?
Yes, I actually am. I'm gonna add a little bit of zest to it. Well, you know, spice it up. I think it'll be really good, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe a mojito.
Gaming may not be lit, but all us three will be lit by the end of the podcast. That's for sure.
Oh, by the way, a fun fact before we really get into it. The RGH hot tub is delayed another 2.5 months. So I want to have the boys out, but I just got a call and said, oh, by the way, there's a strike going on and your hot tub is delayed.
Hot tub strike?
Dude.
They're the people at the factory. They're not there. They're not working. They don't have parts. They keep getting all these excuses. I got to call up Costco and be like, hey, where's the tub?
I get it, dude, because our we have like a full 3-story addition to our house that we started out, right?
Right. Yeah, you said
standstill. They're like, we got no workers. We've had some of our designers out with COVID. We got people out because they don't want to work. Like it's everywhere, man. A lot of stuff's at a standstill.
I mean, I don't want to get into economy too much and politics.
But they'll take your job, though. It's like, yeah, we can do it.
Then they can't do it.
They're like, we have no workers. Crazy. You're like, oh, okay.
The thing, though, is like, there is a lot of like labor shortage in some industries, but I'm also wondering how much of it is just like, yeah, we'll pay you below minimum wage to shovel dog poop. And it's like, people just don't want a lot of those jobs. And I don't know. It's a tough little situation. But at the same time, you say... with your renovation, you have problems. I did too. It was like, hey, I need someone to do some drywall. And I had to call like 8 people. And I mean, I think some of them might have just been busy, but I've never, like, I could find a drywaller the first day. Like, my dad, he's been doing, like, renovation stuff his whole life. If he wants a drywaller, he can find a drywaller. Even the people that he's worked with in the past, they're like, yeah, we're too busy, or like, no, we're not doing it. Like, it was so hard to find people in the trades. And I don't know why, but.
Hanging sheetrock ain't fun, though.
Because not many people are in the trades anymore, but it pays amazingly. Like, that's the thing. Kids, don't go to college, go into the trades. Honestly, statistically,
people will always poop. People always need electricity. I mean, truly, trades are pretty.
I remember reading something about this guy his job was he was a septic tank guy. He would basically be the guy that comes and like empties people's septic tanks for wasn't their trailer parks. It was like kind of like their cabins and stuff.
Okay.
Right.
And he's like, you'd think worst job, right? This guy literally goes and empties people's septic tanks.
People's crap. Yeah.
He's like, I love it. He's like, I love it because guess what? Everyone's nice to me. No one is gonna piss off the septic tank guy because he's the guy. Like, if you piss him off, you're done. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're in big trouble.
Crap popping
so
up
everyone
in your yard,
is like so nice to him, and he's like, you know, that it just like is a fun, more fun and than you would expect. Anyways, we got
10 minutes in, we're just talking about drywall.
We gotta stop talking about poop and start talking about shit, which is New World, because apparently no one's playing New World, dude.
Well, then I can't speak to it personally, but all I know as somebody from the outside looking in, because I don't play the game, all I can tell you from the outside looking in is that people are upset. Like, people don't like the way that the invasions are working. They don't like the feed. I saw something, like, was it Gothalion posted something today on his Twitter about a dev interaction where the developer was like, someone was like, this thing is a really frustrating mechanic. It's got to be fixed. And they're like, oh, that's intended. We wanted that.
Explaining on that, for those who don't know, what's happened recently is like there's these big battles at Mtashed, right? Like you can invade with like an army, there's a big battle. So people thought, oh, if you lose resources. So people thought, well, let's fight it out. So these people are like, we knew we were going to lose, but we fought as hard as we could. We made it to wave 7 of 8. So we defended like 7 waves out of 8, lost the eighth wave or whatever. We lost the battle. And then he's like, but we still lost a crap ton of resources. So we were all confused. It's like, okay, we almost completely defended, but we failed in the last wave. So we reached out to like support and was like, what's going on? They said, no, that's an intended mechanic. So if you get steamrolled, you don't lose as much resources. But that means if you try your butt off and barely lose, you lose a bunch more. So it's like, basically, if you're getting invaded, unless you're 100% sure you can defend, just throw. You just throw. Yeah. And I was saying to TV earlier, it's basically like a super scuffed New World skill-based matchmaking, right? Because I think the goal was like, oh, we want to prevent people from getting steamrolled constantly. So if you do lose like right away, you basically get mercy ruled. Like in Destiny, you like, oh, you don't lose that many resources, you got destroyed. I think that was their intention, but the result is like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like you almost win the defense and you're punished for it. Like you might as well just throw every single time until you're sure you can fully defend.
But the biggest issue too is like, you can only set I think it's 10 people on the defense. I think there's 50 people, but you can only have 10 of them, 2 groups of 5, from your clan who's defending your city to defend it. And so it's a bunch of fucking randoms, like, filling in the gaps. Like, level 20 Johnny is like, oh, I'm gonna defend the fort! And it's like, what the hell? Why do we have this whole clan? Like, why do we have this whole clan trying to defend? And correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I'm not sure if it's the wars or the invasions, but I'm pretty sure it's the invasions. Because when we were doing the wars, we had like everyone in the clan, like it was Glad and me and Fruit, like everyone was there. So I'm pretty sure it's only for the invasions. You can only have like a small group defending it. It's like, well, why? And part of it is because they want other people to maybe experience it. They don't want the people that own the cities to have complete control. But it's like, we're losing major upgrades to our city if we lose this. And Jimmy with a pitchfork is like, oh, I've got the northern gate. Like, what the hell, man?
That's like me just started the game with my like rock and stick. I'm like,
yeah.
what do I do, guys?
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
But also, I knew you can speak more to this, Tash. Something else I read is like none of the new world like multipliers work properly in build crafting. It's like your resistance like doesn't work against crit chance, and like all these like things like don't work. Like they just are broken. It's like,
Yeah.
or,
Fireball
like-
bonus damage doesn't exist.
yeah, exactly. Like all these like resistances or these bonuses, like they just don't work. So when you're build crafting, there's basically only one build that works, and it's like a pure DPS build because it's like the only stats that actually work.
Sure.
Like all the resist stats are like broken.
Well, actually, the other thing is it's actually even the opposite. Is if you go light armor and you get the bonus damage, whatever, like you do your thing, you've got more mobility. But if you don't choose heavy armor in the wars, like you're just screwing yourself, because I believe in the heavy armor, there's a stat that says like resilience, you take 2.3% less damage from crit rate or from critical hits. I can't quite remember. But then someone discovered it's not from critical hits, it's from any damage source, period. And so if you stack it on all the armor, you just take like 25% less damage than anyone else. And so this guy posted on Reddit and he was just like, oh, by the way, this is why we've won every single war, is our entire team is stacking this stat and just taking 25% less damage than anyone else in the war. Like it's literally impossible to 1v1 me because your damage output has to be an impossibly high number. And so
Can
it's
you
just
imagine if in any other game you step into a duel with someone who just had 25% more health than you?
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
and
Hey, it's
like,
called
did
the
you
stag, buddy. We
Yeah.
have it in Destiny.
And people hate it.
did you hear about like the screen locking thing where you would
No.
like, okay, so you would equip the hatchet and the hatchet makes you immortal for like 2 seconds. You just can't die when you have that passive. But what people were doing is they were making their New World game in windowed mode, and then as soon as that would trigger, you would grab the window and shake it around and just keep doing it. And there was a weird interaction between the client and the server, and as long as you kept moving your screen, you couldn't die. So people would rush in on the point, stand there, and then just go yeet with their mouse, and then they would capture the point in the war. And everyone was like, why won't this guy die? It's been 15 seconds, he won't die. and it's like, how is that in the game? Now they patched it.
Oh
but
my god.
can you imagine losing a war because there's a bunch of dudes
my God.
just standing immortal?
Rugrats, man.
and I mean, come on, guys. There's people T-posing in these wars, 50 on 50. It's supposed to be this epic battle, and everyone's T-posing on the point, and it's like, are you alive? Are you dead? And that's the thing, is I quit pretty early. I loved the game. I made a whole damn channel.
I remember
New World
saying
Tips.
you're addicted.
I know. New World Tips. I was going to make a channel. I made a couple of videos. They did pretty good. One of them has like 7,000 views. And then like 2 days later, I started to get further into the game and I started realizing the problems. There's problems with the crafting system, the end game system, the amount of money you get from, getting rid of gear. There's so many problems. And then I did a war where everyone was T-posing, and it was just like, damn, this game is actually broken. And that was only scratching the surface. There's so many problems that I could feel the frustration mounting, and I just kind of knew this isn't for me long term. Yet there's 300,000 people playing right now, so it's not dead. But I would also say a lot of those people maybe are newer players, oblivious
They haven't
to
gotten to
some
the
of those
end game.
patches.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends are all saying, "Damn, what is going on here?" Like
I mean, that's why
Gathalion was like, he was so excited to start this clan up, and like I looking in the clan chat, and he's just like, "Man, I'm so bummed. Like I don't want to go. Like I don't want this thing to die. But like, geez, this really sucks. You're winning a war, and it doesn't feel good because of all the glitches. You're losing a war, and it feels even worse because of the glitches. It's just
Hey, listen,
not
this is
good.
why I can't start a new channel. I can only handle one dead channel. Tash, you got like 3 dead channels now. Actually, they think the Clips channel's doing well. That's nice.
The Clips channel's popping
Clips
off.
channel's
It's
doing
taking
great.
off. 1 out of 3 channels are alive. That's good. That's a pretty good ratio.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned this glitch in New World. Destiny actually had I don't know if you just heard about this, Mike. There's a similar glitch in Destiny where if you could you tab out of the game or whatever. I don't remember exactly the specifics of how it worked. It only works on PC. But you can basically make like 1 billion orbs of light with a well of light or a bubble.
Right.
And
now, go ahead.
and now, like, Bungie's band-aid to it was like, now, well, if you tab out, we're just gonna kick you. You know what I mean? Like, so like, trial streamers are like, I'll go ahead and run a raffle. They tab out of the game.
Banned.
So, like, it's like they kicked the activity.
Oh, man. That's brutal.
I'm over here on console like, that must suck.
But, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you do that, or do you ruin the integrity of the game? You know, it's like... They can't have someone ruining a PvP match with these glitches, so... Unfortunately, I don't know.
A little bit of drama. This all happened. This all happened when I was on vacation. I'm not involved at all. But like,
sure, you're probably abusing it so you could get that damn Grandmaster guide out.
Yeah.
That's the only way you could beat it.
He's like, yo, this is kind of free, guys. I bet
dude,
it
is free. I'm pounding out these Grandmasters like they're nothing, dude. I'm looking at other people's guides, 40 minutes to beat it. I'm pounding out in 20, baby. Listen, you watch. Everyone memes on KackisHD, but guess what? I got the best damn guides in the business, baby. All right, but in all seriousness, what happened was there was like a YouTuber. I'm not gonna say who it is, but has got banned like 4 times. This guy's like a prolific glitcher. Like he uses like third-party exploits to get out of the map, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, you have third-party exploits and actual, like, you're hacking the game to get out of bounds, to post out of bounds videos. Like, who's to say you're not hacking the game to do other things? Yeah. Like, oh, you suddenly had a real good match. That sniper rifle's looking real accurate. Maybe you toggled on some other part of your song. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's all not proven, but it's like, okay, he's gotten banned like 4 times. But basically, this glitch got posted, they knew apparently this glitch was known about for a while, and the people who discovered it like tried to communicate it with Bungie. And then this guy got banned for his 4th time or whatever. Got all pissed off at Bungie for banning him for hacking. So he like publicly released this glitch. And now everyone who alt tabs is getting in trouble. So it's like, oh, dude, like, bro, like that's so annoying, dude. Like, why? Well, people are less mad at that dude than me for having a fun intro for 15 seconds or whatever. Like, bro, come on.
I mean, I'm all tabbed out of this whole podcast right now. Like, I don't have anything open. I'm reading Reddit. Like, think of how many times you alt tab in a day from a game. Constantly. And like, I don't even think I'd be able to break that habit. I'd have to disable one of the buttons so I wouldn't do it in game, because I'd just be like, oh, let me check something quick. But let's move on to Halo Infinite, though. Halo Infinite got some big upgrades, but also not big upgrades, which I'll discuss. So if you look at the thumbnail of this podcast, that little photo is pretty notorious. It's not the Craig image of like the original Brute, but that image was shared on Twitter. It got a ton of retweets saying, hey, look at Halo Infinite now. They've upgraded it like crazy. And shortly after being posted and going somewhat viral, one of the devs from Halo is like, actually, I'm going to correct you. Listen, that's not in-engine. So maybe it is a cutscene or something like that, but it is not in-engine, so don't get your hopes up kind of thing.
The first one, I thought the first one was also like part of a cutscene.
It is, because he's talking to the camera, so... You know, I don't know how you quantify that, but whatever you're seeing, like, that does look great. It looks really good. It's got some more character. It looks like, you know, the rendering is done. But if you want to check on Reddit, r/gaming, I think has a post right now showing the assault rifle before and after. They did that, you know, initial reveal a few months back. And now
look like plastic. They're like
they don't have any color, like nothing. Yeah, they have like no color to them. They just like they look like plastic. And now they've added a lot more visual spice to it. So it definitely looks a lot better. And I mean, even the footage of the Warthog driving around and Chief doing all this stuff, it does look quite a bit better. Does it look next gen? I don't know.
Can I say there was like, you're right. Everything you said is 100% correct. It looks substantially better. But then, if you kind of think, it calls into question. Remember when it was first initially revealed? You had a lot of people kind of memeing on it, but you had a sizable amount of like Halo fanboys who were like defending it. They were like, "That's just the style, bro. That's just the style."
Right.
And it's like you're all idiots now. Like everyone who said that, you like it basically was like kind of exposed as like including the devs were like, "Bro, this needs some more work," right?
Yeah.
So it's like. That just kind of shows, I guess I shouldn't say like you're all idiots, but it just shows like you have people who are such fanboys that they want a product to be good so bad. They identify with Halo, and there's nothing wrong with really liking Halo, but they almost like trick themselves into being it's just a style. It's just stylized, bro. It's like, no, dude, it looked like garbage, and now it's so much better, right? So it's like kind of an interesting thing. It's like, dude, don't be so much of a fanboy that you're like blinded to this stuff. You gotta like keep like a reasonable mind and be like, yeah, that doesn't look good for a next gen console. Like, I think at the time it was 2020, 2019 or something. It's like that doesn't look right.
It was 2020. It was
2020. Yeah.
So I'm coming at it from the opposite perspective. Not a Halo fanboy. I love like classic Halo. That's what I grew up. That's what made me the gamer I am now. Was Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3 especially. But I have not been excited about Halo in a long time, and I've expressed that on the podcast several times. Like I'm just not that excited about Infinite. Nothing about it is really speaking to me as a real future thinking, innovative game. But one of the things that I have to admit I was impressed by was I was worried that they were going to stay so committed to classic Halo that there's parts of classic Halo that just frankly don't age well, and I was concerned about that, and I thought that's what we were going to get. But they made a lot of changes to the game in its at its core, how it functions, that I think show that they're at least thinking about how do we make Halo innovative and bring it up to sort of current standards. Things like they got a home base now. Master Chief's got a home base. He's got a garage, vehicles. He's got sort of like the Far Cry shtick of there are these enemy bases that he can go in. He can clean them out, take over, and have that as an outpost kind of thing. Like, just stuff that you never saw in an old Halo game. They were just, you play this mission, and then this one, and then this one. You know what I'm saying? There was no place to go back to other than the game's start menu where you choose where you're going to go to next. So having that all be sort of in-game feels a lot more organic. I think that really helps bring the franchise up to speed with what gamers really have come to expect out of a modern-day video game. And that's what I think has really been holding Halo back, is that they've been so committed to staying classic that a lot of those features just don't age well. We have different standards now for what makes a good game, what makes a good user experience. So I was happy to see, at least from a negative standpoint, I haven't been excited about Infinite. That excited me. That made me feel a lot more positive about the game.
I've seen some footage from PvP.
Oh, can I say? Someone in the chat was like, "Oh, TV and Kackis do this with Destiny all the time." Is like fanboy over it, bro. We literally get called haters and toxic streamers like every day by the fanboys. Like, shut up, dude. It's so weird. You get called a hater and like toxic streamer, and you get called like a blind fanboy at the same time.
In the same day.
It's like
one. I'll be like, I don't like this thing that's happening. They'd be like, you're just a hater farming impressions.
I know, but you're like, I like this thing. Like, you can't have a nuanced opinion. You either need to hate everything about something or love it and hate anyone who dislikes it. Like, it's so weird.
People who care that much about how we see a video game, honestly, have never felt the warmth of a woman's touch, and I pity them. I pity you.
Okay, now this is getting toxic. I thought this was a gaming podcast.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe they're on to something about these toxic streamers.
That's right.
No, like Halo, it's so weird, man. They're innovating. It's cool. I mean, I have Xbox Game Pass for the PC, and it says, like, I'm going to get access to Halo multiplayer when it comes out. It's just, unfortunately, it comes out one day after the big Destiny 30th anniversary, Galahorn quest, new dungeon, like, man, so much stuff. And yeah, like,
it's a little tough to like commit to a game like that.
Yeah, especially like it's a game like Halo. Like, there's people who are like, we've talked about this before, like covering something is different than just playing it. Like, it's people who are like dedicated Halo channels,
But
right,
also-
posting updates every day.
Yeah, but also
It's
like,
like, I'm not-
what are you gonna cover in Halo? There's no
Right?
loadouts. That's
no-
because people keep asking me like, "Are you gonna cover Halo?" And I'm like,
Like, what-
I'll play it. I might stream it and have some fun. But unless like what can you post? Okay, if there's some funny Forge maps and Forge moments, maybe. If you're super personality based, maybe you get away with that.
Yeah, I think that's
Or you're snipe down. You're the best player and you're absolutely god tier PvP player. And like
second one coming in. Boys.
I'm good.
There you go.
I'm good. But are you gonna watch me or are you gonna watch Nated? Are you gonna watch me or are you gonna
Right.
watch Snipe Down? Like it's just
Sure.
it just
Yeah,
seems like a weird game to cover. You're not gonna be like, well, what gun kills you faster, the BR or the AR? Like maybe a couple comparison videos, but unless you're doing the Chris Puckett MLG top 10 plays, like I just don't know
Yeah.
what kind of content there is for Halo
And that's
other than
kinda- yeah, like-
Forge, which
like-
isn't gonna be there at launch. It's not
I
even
mean-
gonna be there. So it's like, come on.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the thing, like Destiny, like we meme on Destiny, but like there's a lot of content you can make, right? I mean, the freaking what was it? The scout rifle, the scorpion, whatever. That's been in the game since the start of the season, and then Cool Guy does a video on it, right? And then now it starts to pop off, and everyone's going after it, and then like more people start making videos or whatever. Like again, like I knew that this gun was good because I like the rapid fire scouts. Like ever since the one I played with UTV, the one from Deepstone Crypt, I really like. So it's like this one's out. It has kill clip. That's very exciting. You know what I mean? Like it's like, dude, this has been in the game for so long, but Destiny does have like a depth in terms of like all these weapons. Grandmasters just came out. We got the Grandmaster guides going. You've got like all these new elemental well mods you can do builds with and so on. Whereas like Halo, it's just like the battle rifle is the battle rifle is the battle rifle. And yeah, they may like do some buffs and nerfs, but it's like what's your you don't have a loadout. There's gonna be, I mean, you can maybe go in depth if like talking about like map sight lines and stuff like that, like going really hard on like the competitive aspect. But even then, like I just, like you said, Tash, it's like you're basically either so good, you're like Shroud or Snipe Down or something, and you're just like basically posting your gameplay, or you are doing personality-based content. You know, you're dicking around on Forge because you're the Russian Badger or whoever, right? Like that's it. There's not a lot of like stuff in terms of content there.
No.
And
like
there's
there's no like I know that there's some players that even with Destiny they might resonate with watching someone who plays Hunter a lot or like Titan and they want to get better. And like I understand that there is a skill thing that people want to get better watching a Halo player and stuff, but I just feel like there's not as much personality in the game. And I don't know, like you can't be known as the guy who only uses slug shotguns or only uses fusion rifles. Like I just don't know if there's as much style there. It's gonna be the best players who get watched, and I think it's gonna be more a stream game than YouTube. And it has been for a long time. People watch montages of Halo, but I think here's the biggest issue. Halo has been around forever.
Yeah.
And I think Halo, when it was popular back in 2 and 3, was before YouTube was really a thing. People weren't getting paid on YouTube. People weren't content creators on YouTube. There was a montage, like the Walshy montage and the straight ripping montage, like these crazy montages that did get good views, but there was not content creators. And then they had a huge lull, Halo Reach, Halo 4, Halo 5. There's a couple pros here and there, but there's not like a huge content creator base there.
The opening wine, is that wine? What is that?
That is Lafroy.
Oh, it's
that's
whiskey.
That's
Okay.
Scotch.
Sorry, I thought he was like opening a bottle of wine. I was like, damn, we're all going so hard. But no, but Tash, you're right. And you know what? Like, probably the biggest avenue for this to be good in terms of content creation is the Forge mode. There's a lot of like
That's what I was
personality.
gonna say.
There's a lot of personality-based YouTubers. There's so many out there, so many huge ones. I mean, I mentioned the Russian Badger, dude. Every goddamn video that guy does is like 2 million views. It's like, like you know what I mean. This guy's huge, and he's just like one of so many. But all of them are good. This is Forge mode. It's like Forge mode is where you get creative, is where you get fun, is where
That's
you make your
exactly
own
right.
like that. And it's like the fact that it's not launching with Forge mode is just like so shocking.
I
It's
totally agree.
crazy.
Some of the richest history of of Halo's presence online has been the creative community that heavily invests in creating unique game modes, creating unique maps, doing machinima style videos, like how to
Red
catch a
versus blue.
noob, red versus blue,
Right.
stuff like that. And so it's not all about just being good at the game. That was one of the I would argue, in my opinion, probably the best feature of Halo Classic was the creative aspect of it, and what you could make, what you could build, and what experiences you could craft on your own. And that's why file share was such a big thing back in the day. You'd go onto Bungie.net, you'd see what file share things are trending. Somebody made a new game mode. Oh, this is dope. Let's download it. I share it with my buddies. They download it too, and we all play it that night. And those are things that even today, I kid you not, like with the Master Chief Collection, we have gone back and found things that we grabbed from file shares 10 years ago, and we play them now. Like the DK mode where the things are, I don't know if anybody's a Halo fan, this where all of the vehicles and explosive barrels are tumbling down a cliff, and you just have to climb up the cliff and dodge everything, and you get a point for your team when you make it to the top. Stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's the stuff that kept Halo thriving. So
Yeah,
when you
100%.
launch without that, it's a big deal. It's big deal.
Dude, and no co-op multiplayer. Like
Yeah,
sorry,
for the
co-op
story.
campaign.
Yeah.
No co-op
co-op
campaign.
campaign.
It's like it's like a tradition. So many people like play the campaign with their buds. Like and the fact that you won't have that is just like, I mean, it's coming later. It's not like they're never gonna make it, but it's like, will that really diminish from the launch? I think it will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think also with Halo, because there's been such a big gap, like we're talking like 10 years of Halo being on the back burner of like popular culture, like it hasn't been popular. There's been Fortnite, there's been Call of Duty, there's been Apex Legends, there's been all these other games that have popped off, and Halo has been kind of an afterthought or just like not very popular with people. But now it is going free to play. So that could be a saving grace. It will get people to maybe try it. But honestly, I'm going to tell you, and I want to know if you guys agree. I'm kind of scared about any game that launches because it just seems like everything is botched at launch. Like Battlefield beta, I try that out and I'm like, yikes, this is not very polished. There's some major issues here. You look at Cyberpunk, there's all these huge games, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in cost and devs and all this stuff here. And they never put out a finished product. And it's like, will Halo be finished? Will it be polished? Will it feel good? I don't know. I'm losing faith here. I just feel like, New World, we just talked about New World. It's like, God damn it. When is someone going to nail it? When is someone going to put out that game? And I understand major delays, COVID. I get it. That is really tough. But at the same time, when have you gone to a movie and they're like, oh, we forgot to edit the audio in, or like, oh, we forgot to fix this thing here.
I mean,
this wasn't ready in time. Sorry.
We didn't do the green screening here. They don't do that.
It's also like the Slick Gaima is in the chat. Sorry, everyone I know plays Halo for multiplayer, not Forge. No.
A lot of the maps that you play multiplayer on are.
It's like yes, Halo multiplayer. Halo multiplayer is super important, but it's like that's another reason. Like, are they getting the opinions of people high up, or like this guy who's like, oh, Forge doesn't matter? I'm telling you, Forge matters so much because, like we said, the content creation aspect. That is going to be based a lot in Forge, right? And if you're someone who's like, oh, who cares? Like, I don't watch Halo YouTubers. You don't. But every goddamn 12-year-old on the planet does, okay? And they're the people who convince their moms to buy the game. Like, if you don't have that audience, the game dies. Right? You can only have so many bitter dads playing a game, right? Like, you need a bigger audience, right? So
You
even though
need.
it doesn't resonate,
We love Fortnite. We love Fortnite. Like you
we
need
love
them.
Fortnite. We love like
They gotta be
those people-
flossing.
That's the reason that game blew up, right? Is they attracted that audience around, along with everyone else, right? So it's like you need those people with millions of subscribers to be playing Forge modes and having a blast, and that is such an encouragement for other people to get the game. Like it's a huge factor. So like the fact that it isn't launching with that is a big deal. Guess what? Halo doesn't need the hardcore Halo audience. They're going to be there regardless. They need the other audience.
Yeah.
Like,
and it goes beyond just content creators who have 1 million subscribers. Back in the day, Halo, Bungie at the time with Halo created longevity in the game. They basically infused new content into the game that they didn't even make.
yep.
Yeah. What they did is they took things that other people made with Forge mode and said, that's actually a really good idea. This is a really cool game mode. This is a really cool map. And they said, we're taking it because that's in actually the terms of service that you agreed to. That map's ours. So we're going to put that in the rotation. There are a ton of maps in classic Halo that were created not by Bungie, not by map designers at the studio. They were made by players.
Isn't Griffball? Isn't Griffball
yeah,
made
it was
by people?
originally
Griffball's a good example.
So when you say we don't need that stuff, we just need what they are going to spoon feed us. No, if you're actually a genuine fan of the Halo experience, you know how important community creation stuff is. And these are not people with 1 million subscribers. This was Jack sitting on his couch at home while his wife's sitting next to him on her iPad, and he made a map, and it got popular. And it's in the game. It's stuff like that that really added genuine longevity to the Halo experience.
And like the Forge modes, I think for even MLG, like the competitive scene, I'm pretty sure like almost half of the maps were Forge maps. They weren't even maps that Bungie developed because they're like, oh, these are way more competitive. So it was literally like people making Forge maps, and then they implement them into the tournaments, and they're like, yeah, don't play on the maps that we created, play on the community maps because they're more balanced. Like, that's insanity. Also, really cool that like my map is an MLG map. That's pretty sweet.
Well, what we're talking about, again, that's exactly why the people in chat are like such like we just talked about this. They're like, oh, Forge doesn't matter. We're literally talking about how they're taking Forge maps and implementing them as official MLG maps in the game. Like now they're missing out on that content. Like they have to make all these maps via Scratch. They could potentially launch with less maps, right? Easily. And then implement those Forge maps. So we're just saying like they're missing out on a big thing here. Now, does that mean Halo's going to be terrible? Absolutely not.
Listen, the reason why they don't understand is because they're not real gamers like we are. Like that's why we're the Real Gamer Hour podcast, and they're just sitting there talking trash.
Someone just called me tilted. He's like, "What do you know about Halo? You only play Destiny." Bro, I've been gaming my entire fucking life. Like, yeah, I used to be a dedicated Battlefield 4 YouTuber. I used to be a dedicated Call of Duty YouTuber. I used to be a dedicated like Borderlands YouTuber. I've done it all, brother. Like,
do you know who we are? Gaming. Like, do you know how many anime chicks I've got on my roster in Genshin, bro? Do you know how many thousands of dollars I've spent on an anime game, bro?
The truth is, you have to be willing to hear the good and the bad. We started out this section by praising the game and saying, look, they surprised us with this feature and this feature, this feature. That's awesome. But here are our concerns.
Holy crap. I will say, legitimately, like, because we have kind of been crapping on Halo, in fairness to the Halo fans. Again, you're right. Thank God they didn't launch in 2020.
Yeah,
like, could you imagine?
They're giving themselves an opportunity to succeed, right?
Honestly, like how bad it probably would have been a train wreck.
Like, they would have got clowned on, and it would have been the end of Halo.
Honestly,
this is the end of Halo if they don't nail it. Like there's no more. I don't know
about that. Halo is it's like so ingrained in the culture.
Three failed games in a row. I mean, if you're looking at the numbers of how
they fail,
I'm telling you, Halo people who liked Halo Reach like Halo Reach, and anyone who liked Halo 2 and 3 for the most part, they were like fine or hated Reach. And then going into 4 was like almost franchise killingly bad. It was awful. And 5, it has some potential. But like, it's been a long time since a lot of people who I know, myself included, have cared about Halo. I mean, Ryan, his wife, him and his wife were playing Halo back in the trenches, back in the college days, grinding. He hasn't played Halo. He's a wannabe now. Because
like I said,
Halo sucked for so long.
I was a diehard Halo fan. I really, really was. And I saw the value in Reach. I played a ton of Reach. You know, that whole like race to it wasn't what was the name of the
Noble. Noble.
No.
Wasn't it? Noble
no,
1?
It wasn't Noble. The race to, because I felt like Spider was one of the top 2 guys who ended up Mythic, right? The race to Mythic? Is that what it was called?
Maybe it was Mythic.
The highest rank possible. I was in the top 200 players during that race. I was not up there at the top, but I was in the top 200 at the time. I was serious about Reach at the time. And like I said, we started out this section by praising the positives of the game, but you have to be willing to hear the negatives too, and not get upset at the person saying it. Just because they have concerns.
Dude, like, this is why I block Kackis. For what? Saying that Halo should launch with a Forge mode? What did I say that's so controversial, dude? I was like, Forge mode matters. Dude,
if you're listening to us, we're also saying we want these things so it doesn't die. We want it to succeed.
Dude, I remember coming home from like junior high, I think it was, every day I would come home and get on Halo and play Stairway to Heaven, Tremors, Duck Hunt. Bro, this was like such a huge part of my life. That's why I'm like, I lived off Forge mode and multiplayer. Loved the MP as well. Like, no shade to the MP, but it's like Halo launching with no co-op campaign, no Forge mode until later. I think it really does hurt it, and I would love to see it launch with all of that stuff, because it is kind of weird. Like, oh, pay this money now and get part of it. We'll bring the rest of the stuff later. But that's, people freaked out at Bungie for doing that. The whole like dungeon thing. Pay us now and you get the content later. People are like pitchforks with that, right? So it's understandable that people are upset about that in Halo as well. I just want the game to be good. I always want like the games to succeed because I just like gaming, and I'm just worried that it's like, it's like, do they need a little bit more time? Right? I'm always okay with devs delaying stuff. It seems like the higher ups of these companies are not. It seems like the gamers are pretty chill with games being delayed. Like, if you ask a Halo fan, obviously they want it to come out. They want to play it. But if you're like, if they need more time, would you be willing to give them a delay and they can launch with everything at once? I think a lot of Halo fans would be like, yeah, I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, rushed product, always bad. Delayed product, opportunity to be good.
Yeah.
And speaking of honestly a surprising one,
before we get on to that,
no, I gotta go to this one.
No,
we'll do it. Just trust me.
We actually do need to.
We'll get more viewers after this topic. I promise you.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Everyone has been roasting any like superhero game for the most part has been pretty trash. But Guardians of the Galaxy is getting some pretty big praise. Good gameplay. People are liking the flow of it. The writing. I've seen more positive reviews than I expected because as soon as I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, okay. Oh, a movie adaptation game, it's going to be trash. But now people are saying that it's great.
Here's what you got to know. Here's the basic gist of this whole topic is that Square Enix made the Marvel's Avengers game, and people were not happy. They're like, yo, you're trying to do this whole live service thing. You're trying to nickel and dime your community with these microtransactions and all this bull crap. If you had just made a campaign-focused game, you'd have had a good game. Sorry, I'm out. And then people said, oh, I hear that Square Enix is making another Marvel game. They're making the Guardians of the Galaxy. I ain't touching it. But then someone says, hold up. this is good. And then IGN's like, no, but for real, this is good. And then their favorite content creators like, nah, but for real, this game's really good. People are like, wait, do I need to check this out? And guess what? Square Enix must have taken some of that criticism of Avengers seriously, because with Guardians of the Galaxy, they created a game that is linear, it is campaign focused, there's no multiplayer, there's no live service, there are no microtransactions. It is just a good, well-scripted single-player game.
Experience gains?
Have you seen?
You can
You
now in
cannot buy
RGH.
experience
Good.
gains.
Have you seen the ratings? 81% Metascore, but the user rating, which is I feel like the user rating is either way below or it's way above.
Yeah.
A 9.4 user rating.
Whoa.
That's pretty insane.
Bro, I'm gonna have to get
because
Guardians of the
people will
Galaxy.
be savage about Guardians of the Galaxy. People will be savage. They'll be like, it's a 2. It's a 2 if they didn't like it. They would just roast it and be like, Marvel game, this is trash. This isn't like the comics.
cringe plus ratio plus you fell off.
Right? I could see that audience completely roasting it if it wasn't a good game. Oh, they're trying to cash in on the Guardians of the Galaxy name. That's what I see happening. So the fact that they're giving it a 9.4 and saying, yep, this game's great, that goes to show
Crazy.
that, you know.
Yeah, like did they basically take what everyone was mad about in Avengers and say, all right, let's just not do that? I mean, like, it's also like, it's interesting, right? Like, how well is this game gonna do? Because the money comes from the microtransactions. Like, dude, the amount of people who bought the Nightmare in Verdansk Warzone Scream skin, it's like $20 a pop or $30 a pop or something. Like everyone in the lobby has that skin, right? They're making hundreds of millions of dollars on a skin, right? That is where the money is from, the skins, right? And so it's like, the fact that you're going full single player, is it better for the game? Absolutely. Are the reviews going to reflect that? Absolutely. I wonder, are they still going to turn a decent profit because of the positive reviews? I certainly hope so. Because, that's why you see, all these games moving towards this live service model, is because that's where the money is made. Even if the game's, slightly mediocre, you have a few whales and you make your money.
So much more money out of every dedicated player in a live service model than you can with a game that's just a solo campaign. You charge them once in that game. Yeah. So with Destiny, you charge them once, and then now you're going to charge them again and again.
Yeah, you want a $5 emote? You want a $10 skin? You want yeah.
I honestly, my hope though is because everyone does realize that that's the meta on making a bunch of money. But it's like, if you're going to do it, make the base game really good. And I'm not going to I'm not going to cry about it, but it's like they throw out the game, there's some major issues, then they're trying to monetize on top of it, and it's like, come on, man. I feel like you're phoning this in. I don't know if you guys have played Slay the Spire. But if they had Slay the Spire, right? They have Slay the Spire, you've got multiple different characters, all these different relics, it's a roguelike game. If that was the base game, and then it was like, okay, there's another character you can get for $5 and another character, I would buy it. Because the base core there is amazing. Or a game like Path of Exile, where they're always updating new seasons, new content. It's free to play all the time. You want to throw some monetization at me? I've spent $350 on Path of Exile, not because I need to. Not because I need to, but because I want to support the devs. I want to give them money because they always bring me a new season.
I'm sorry, I will say with Path of Exile, you basically do need to buy the one
the stash tabs
pack.
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude! Especially when you get the little resources, you need that resource tab. It's impossible to get to the end game without it.
That's true.
Other than that, somewhat minor complaint. It is, I agree with you. It's make the game good, and then people are willing to spend the money.
Just don't milk me. Don't milk me.
Milk me.
I'll give you the milk on my own accord, but don't milk me. Right? Yeah. If you reach for it, then it's a problem. But if I'm giving you the milk, you could you guzzle it down, put it in your chocolate milk. I don't care. But it's just
Fortnite, perfect example where it's it came out, people were loving it, dude.
Yeah.
especially before the fast building BS took over. It was like people just having fun, and that's when they dropped the Raven skin, and they made $1 billion in a month, right? It's like, because when you're having fun, when you're playing with your buds, you don't like you have a different mindset. It's like it's weird, like you just have like a weirdly different mindset to like buying this optional stuff, right? Like people are more willing to drop $20 on a skin in Fortnite than you are to buy like a $20 expansion in Destiny.
Dude,
With,
they're
like,
gonna go
all
and look
this
at the reviews
content.
and be like, "Is this really
I
worth
don't
my money?"
know. Yeah, I don't like this one strike. It's like, brother, like you just spent you spent $20 on a skin, right? And this is like so much more infinitely more content.
Yeah, but can you floss in the new Destiny expansion?
Yeah, but it is like a thing. Like it's because it's like kind of coming up in the future. You're like, oh, how much am I going to play that content? How much am I enjoying the game? But like a skin is like in the moment right now. I'm having fun. My buds are using it. I'll buy it too. I'll buy it too. Right? It's like it is a very weird thing, but it really does happen.
Absolutely, and I can respect that. I don't have any problem with that model as long as the core gameplay is fun and they use the funds they make off of those skins to refine the core gameplay. I think that Fortnite has done that because obviously the game is free to play. That has funded a lot of the the new maps, the new locations, all that business. And the same thing goes for Apex Legends. Actually, Apex Legends is just around the corner. They're launching next week on Tuesday. They're launching Season 11, Escape. And that's another game that's free to play, but they come up with really, really interesting, unique skins for guns and characters and banners and emotes, all that stuff. And those things go to fund the future content. And we see that now. Apex Legends, we've talked about it several times on the podcast this year about how their player retention is huge. The amount of revenue that they're pulling in is huge. And so that's gone to fund now. They've shown off they have a new map called Storm Point. It's the largest map in the history of Apex Legends. 15% larger than World's Edge. It's huge. This like tropical oasis. It's really interesting actually from the pictures we've seen about it. And more of that is supposed to come. There's supposed to be some more information about the map, players, all new character, all that stuff coming out tomorrow. We got the new map Storm Point. They got a new character named Ash. I say new. She's new to the Apex Legends roster. She's actually one of the bosses that you fight in Titanfall 2. And that's one of the cool things they've done lately is they do all these callbacks to the Titanfall universe. And this is
TV, that's because you can't actually play the game. Hackers have taken over. It'll crash. Yeah. It'll break your PC if you open up the game.
That's right.
So they have to bring them into Apex Legends so you can remember them.
Yeah, so Ash is new. She's got a real cool. She looks very aggressive. She can open like one-way portals to any location she can see. So if you just want to like get in the fight, you look at you're like, oh, people are fighting over there, and then you just teleport right into it. You can't go back. It's high risk, high reward. So like you choose, hey, I want to go there. You're there, and you're in the fight immediately. She can like find out where fights are happening on the map. I think this is actually kind of cool. What they've done is they said her whole motivation is she wants to be the best. She wants to be the apex fighter. How do we incorporate that in game? Well, like her passive ability is that she can actually see around the map where people are dying. So if you're playing as Ash and you want to go fight people, you pull up your map and you're like, dude, there's like 6 people that just died over this POI. Let's go there. So her whole vibe is like, people are getting kills over there. I want to go find out who won that fight, who's still alive. I want to take him out because that's my job is killing people.
Something I've heard about Apex Legends is that it doesn't have very much third partying. So this character sounds perfect for something that almost never happens in Apex Legends, which is third partying. So that's great.
I don't know where you got the information. It's the opposite.
I know that's the joke. That's the joke. It's nothing but third partying. This just sounds even worse.
Here's what the developer said about Stormpoint. They're like, we deliberately designed this map around the feedback. This was a core design, motivator for this map was that people don't like getting third partied. So we want to make a map where you can know where the action is, but getting there is going to take you a little bit more time. One of the ways they've done that is they've actually introduced fauna into the game. Like you got to fight, like there's these wolf type canine creatures roaming around. So you're like, oh, there's a fight over there. You start running over there. Suddenly a pack of these wolves ambushes your team. You got to take them out.
The Wolves third party you. It's not even just the other players.
Oh, no!
Like, there's not enough third party. We're gonna make actual packs of roaming wolves just for you in a gunfight that are gonna jump in on the weaker team, bro. Oh my god.
But
They're not hard. They are not hard to fight.
Yeah.
it's just time consuming. But honestly,
Yeah.
that's honestly for me that's really exciting because that's the one reason I don't play Apex. I cannot handle getting third partied all the time. And like in PUBG, you can hear a car coming from a mile away, but if you're walking, it's like 4 years to cross the map in PUBG walking.
Yeah.
And so like for people to approach on you, you know they're coming. I feel like the footsteps and the movement abilities aren't very loud, and so you're fighting, and then all of a sudden there's another team on top of you in Apex. And so if they're taking away some sight lines with some corridors and just like it's harder to get to you, if they're adding some of those maybe distractions like you're saying, good. I want to fight. I want to finish that fight and not feel frustrated because I chose to get aggressive. And that's how I feel now with Apex. And that's why I pretty much only play Arena when I do play, is because it's like I know there's one team and I can play so much cooler because it's like I know exactly where my threats are. In Apex, I'm like, I don't know if I should push or not. I'm a little scared, not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably try out the new season.
Hopefully that plays out well. But I think it's at least encouraging to hear that was like an intentional decision. Like, we want to make a map that's going to limit the third parties. And when you look at the map, it's interesting. It looks like there's like 3 tiers. Like there's the beachy sort of Pirates of the Caribbean vibe down low. But then you hear a fight deeper in the map, but you gotta go up in elevation through these canyons to get to these other POIs.
Right.
So it could take you a little bit of time. And then there's a third tier above that. So it looks like beach, rainforest, and then like dry lands up in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
You know? And so you kind of have to like go up in elevation if you're going to chase these fights down, or down, conversely, depending on where you're at.
Right.
It's really interesting.
As we approach the end to this, I got something important to say, okay? There's some people who are like, they're very upset. They're very upset that we said some things about Halo, right? They're very upset at apparently that we main Destiny. We don't know what we're talking about. These people clearly need today's sponsor, which is actually a new body wash. These people, if anyone needs some body wash, and some of the people in our chat, you know what I'm saying, baby. Now, this is from Manscaped. Now, listen, guys. Manscaped, well known for their grooming products, but here's the problem. All right? You can spend hours, right? You can trimming and getting everything perfect, right? And then you go out. If you stink, it's game over, right? Like, you can be perfectly coiffed and manicured and trimmed, and at the end of the day, you gotta be clean, baby. You gotta smell good. And the new body wash by Manscaped. They use their refined cologne in here. Smells great. Great cleaning. It's like
Tap on that bottle. That's aluminum.
It's aluminum. I can't with my foot. You can't really hear it, but it's an aluminum can.
Hit your head with it,
which is nice. Now listen. No, okay, but seriously, it also it has aloe vera and sea salt, so it's actually gonna moisturize and properly clean. A lot of the really moisturizing stuff sometimes doesn't clean as well. This stuff is fantastic, and it's kind of like the last thing you need. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys watching might have randomly gotten like the Manscaped Performance Package or whatever. It's like kind of the last thing you need. Like, you shave it up, you're in the shower anyways. It's like you need some good body wash, right? There you go.
One of the things is you don't want to mix scents either. Like, that's one of the things I've honestly, and this is people know this if you watch my channel. Like, I did Manscaped as a consumer before I ever did it as a sponsor, and that's the thing. Like, they've got a unifying scent. So I've got the cologne, I've got the body wash, I've got everything. So I'm not mixing scents. So I'm not like a hodgepodge of, I've got Ralph Lauren up top, for my cologne.
That is
and
true.
Then my body wash is this, and then my deodorant's this. It's just all unified.
That's true. You have like a certain body wash, and then if you have like a different like shampoo that smells totally different, and then a different cologne, each may smell good on their own, but like all together, it can give some weird vibes. So it's like if you're already using like the Manscaped products, you can get this as your body wash. It's like that more like uniform smell. It just smells 10 better. Listen, Tash has got a hot wife. True Vanguard's got a hot wife. I've got a hot wife. Who are you gonna listen to? The guys who clearly smell great and get the ladies? I don't know if you do, but I mean, you're saying clearly
That's
we have a
right.
little.
One disclaimer.
experience
One
in
disclaimer.
Vanguard.
Mtashed never gets to have sex. So, well,
That's just you.
So
Have that.
don't
You
listen to
you
him,
have
and
the
I'll-
body
yeah.
wash? Do you have the body wash, Tash?
No.
'Cause that might be the missing ingredient.
oh,
Put this
perfect.
on.
I'm gonna pick it
Your
up
wife-
with the link in
your
the chat.
wife Might actually pay attention to you, and all you gotta do is use the code KackisHD20 or click the link in the chat. I think either one will work. If you click the link or use KackisHD20, it's 20% off and free shipping. So that's
Perfect.
You can save a bunch. There you go.
I think
Honestly,
we hit everything.
pick it up. We hit it
I
up.
think we hit everything
good.
tonight, didn't we?
Now, one quick thing before we finish the podcast and RGH After Dark it. Are you guys bored? I feel like gaming is just so slow right now. There's a couple little shining lights in the future, but I just feel like I'm waiting. I'm like,
I'm gonna be honest.
when?
I am not bored.
No?
I'm gaming right now to me is so fun. I'm
What are
gonna
you
tell you
playing?
why.
What are you
I'm
playing?
gonna tell you 3 things. One,
Kayaking.
I admittedly, hey, that's my personal time. Yeah, but for my gaming time, yeah, I'm still playing Destiny. I love this season. The changes they made to the sandbox makes PvP fun. That's number 1. Number 2, I love Back 4 Blood. Back 4 Blood launched. Me and my buddies, we play Back 4 Blood 3 nights a week, and it's just
Play with me.
stupid
No one will
amounts of
play
fun,
with
man.
me. I have it on
Yeah, you got it on
Game
Game
Pass
Pass.
for PC.
Yeah, one of these nights when one of my buds can't make it, I'll let you know. But the gunplay
Okay,
in
if your
that game
bud can't
feels.
make it, maybe you'll invite me.
Listen, we've been gaming for 10 plus years now. I've got my core group of 4 friends, and the 4 of us we game consistently every week for 10 plus years now, over a
You're a
decade.
podcast with them too, so
And
what is it?
no, we get Airbnbs together every year though.
Okay, well,
we go
me
hang
and
out.
Patch do, so
But
that's
Back
why you're
for-
not
I'm
invited.
telling you, Back 4 Blood, your jealousy's showing. Back 4 Blood, and it's a lot of fun. Third thing, Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia just came out with a huge new update. What they did is they're like, listen, people are loving our game, or rather, the guy was like, people are loving my game,
Yeah.
but I cannot handle this on my own. So he was making tons of money with Phasmophobia sales. He hired people. He's got people making new maps and making new animations and ghost models and everything. So it's crazy. They released a new map. They released a new difficulty mode called Nightmare Mode, and there's like all kinds of new stuff. There's like hidden dead bodies around the maps and like callbacks to famous horror movies, like all kinds of cool stuff that are now in the game. And it's been a lot of fun to play. So I am not bored. I got a lot of stuff I'm doing right now in gaming, and it's keeping me pretty motivated.
It's good.
That's a fair point.
I played a little bit of Darkest Dungeon 2. It's been interesting. It's very different from the first one. There's actually like a lot of fans that are saying, "What did you do? Why?" But at the same time, you're doing a sequel. Do you want the exact same thing? I don't know. It's a different experience. It's definitely a different experience. I've been trying that one out, and like there is a new there's a new beta out for Honkai Star Rail, which is made by MiHoYo. I didn't get into the beta. No, like almost no content creators got into the beta, so I'll definitely try that
You
out.
guys would shit on
You
it.
crap all over
And
it.
Fair,
the guy
fair.
shits on their game literally nonstop. Like, probably maybe we shouldn't get him in here. But I see your like. I've kind of been a little bored too. There's a new Magic set coming out, so I've been playing Magic Arena. Obviously, like I always play that in the
Oh.
background. But there's always new sets coming out. They're like I don't have time to explain to you guys, but like they're spamming products on Magic like you wouldn't even believe. It's like kind of overwhelming. But I think it's like okay, it's just about to be November, right? And usually, what would we have in September? Destiny, right? We'd have a Destiny launch in September. It was like Beyond, and then Beyond Light was delayed till November, and then what was it? Freaking Shadowkeep was October, right? So like that's what we're missing out on, right? Like that's why it seems kind of boring and stalled. Is like this season launched in the beginning of August, and then there's been nothing. Like the thing that launched in September was Destiny, Destiny 1, right? I think the Rise of Iron, Destiny 2, Forsaken, and again Shadowkeep was just in that like October window. So now that we're missing that, now that we have Witch Queen in February, it feels like there's like a bigger gap where it's
True.
like November, all the heavy hitters come out. Call of Duty comes out November 5th. Battlefield comes out November 19th. And then December 7th is the huge Destiny 30th anniversary. December 8th is Halo. Like things are about to get really busy. But it's like that weird gap where usually you have stuff in September, October, but because Destiny is now like off that track, it feels empty. So I do agree with you, Tash. Like it feels a little empty.
Yeah, we'll see. Any quick burning questions before we sign off for the podcast?
Yeah, we should say we're technically
RGH
in
After Dark.
RGH After Dark. So chat, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. We will try to answer just a few before we get going.
We got a $1 donation and a couple memberships. Thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you for following. If you guys haven't followed already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. We also post this on Anchor, which pushes it out to Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. And like honestly, we still get like 3,000-4,000 people listening to those on Spotify every week, which is amazing. I mean, that's really cool that you guys are popping in and listening to us. Tash,
what position you play in hockey?
I already responded to that, but you didn't look at chat. I was a centerman and I was a right winger for most of my quote unquote career. And I played against some NHL players like Brendan Gallagher, Jordy Martinick for Phoenix, and a bunch of others. But I wasn't as good as them, so I didn't make the NHL. And now I play video games like a loser.
What position do you play in bed?
I play solo.
So I was gonna say,
hey, I play by myself.
oh my
I
god!
bet you do.
Someone said, "Kackis, you're great. Thank you. I appreciate the love after being roasted by everyone else in chat." Is the Horrors least available in the Nightfall this week? I don't know. I think there's a possibility. Maybe it drops.
I think it can drop, but it's still sunset.
It's still going to be sunset. If you want a rapid fire energy pulse, Jurassic, the Jurassic one is where I actually just got one today with the rangefinder plus multi-kill clip roll and ricochet rounds and like fluted barrel. So really happy with that.
Was there experience with trials, solo trials, freelance trials? Freelance trials
how was
fun,
that?
actually. I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun playing freelance trials. My only problem is that I think that if freelance trials is going to stick around, it needs to be like every now and then thing it should come up, because you can't. It's fun, but it is at the expense of the, the core trials experience. The 3v3 team experience is a little bit rougher because of it.
Right.
So I had a lot of fun with it. I think it should come up every now and then as an option for solo players, and I'm totally down for throwing solo players a bone because I'm a major solo player, so I can get down with that, but never at the expense of tanking the experience for other players.
Did you play that weekend when freelance was available? Did you play any normal trials like out with the team?
Yes, it was considerably sweatier.
I was going to say,
even though the numbers were up,
everyone's in freelance.
Everyone's in freelance.
All the like casual players who just play solo are in freelance.
Also, my problem is that a lot of times I actually duo queue a lot. And so I had a long session where I was duo queuing. My matchmaking times were longer because we were trying to find solos. The solos that we did eventually find were horrible because they were, and this isn't me bashing them, there are people that don't know any better. They didn't know freelance was up. They don't watch Destiny news. They don't check to see that freelance is even an option. They just click on trials and play. So they're not like seasoned players. They're just like, oh, I think I'll play trials right now.
Right.
And so it was really rough as somebody who tends to duo queue. So yeah, there's that. But playing freelance was fun. I liked it. I would love for it to come back every now and then. but I don't think it should be a standard.
Yeah, that is the debate, right? Where it's like, do we introduce this playlist that solo players will undoubtedly like and benefit from, but it is splitting the playlist, and so now you have less people.
You've got your pool
playing
you
the
split
pool.
them. You split them down based on their platform. You split them down based on whether they're flawless or not. You split them down based on whether they're solo or not. And now you had a big player base, and now there's just a bunch of all.
Yep.
And that messes with your matchmaking because your match quality is going to go down every time you split the population. The quality of your matches overall goes down. So you do it several times, your quality overall is just going to continue to get tanked.
I think how they're doing is like the way to do it. Like maybe like once a month, do like a solo queue weekend once a month. So if you are a solo player, like that's the time to hop in, get some solo matchmaking in. But the rest of the time, you need to keep that playlist strong because it's just like this is not just Destiny. Any game, it's like once you split that playlist too much. I mean, Call of Duty and Battlefield really suffered from this with map packs. Do you guys remember like map packs?
You can only play other people with the map packs and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Like if you bought the Call of Duty map pack, you'd like it was even worse, right? Because at the end of the game's life cycle, like let's say you only bought map pack 2, you'd like match the other 1,000 people out of like 100,000 who only bought map pack 2. Like it was the matchmaking was just like horrible. And so actually I remember undownloading or like turning off all my map packs so I would just have the base version of the game. So I'd match people who just had the base version of the game. And it would be like way less sweaty and it would just be an easier time because like most people just had the base version of the game.
Right.
So that's part of the reason now they've moved away from map packs is because it split the player base too much. Because you have to have one pool base game, one pool all map packs, another pool just map pack 1, another pool just map pack 2, another pool map pack 1 and 2. Like it'd be brutal.
Question: are you guys gonna try out Lost Ark? The beta is coming out on the November 4th. Are you guys interested in that?
If Lost Ark, the guys that have followed from Lost Ark actually reach out and send me a message and say, here's a beta code, I'd love to play. Dude, how do people get these codes? Brother, I don't know. Like, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, if someone could just reach out and say, hey, do you want a code to our game? I'm like, yes, I'd love to try your game, but like no one ever talks to me, so I just like never play anything other than Destiny. Yeah,
At what point do you start thinking, maybe it's me?
Well, trust me, I'm already thinking it. I'm like, bro, what the hell?
Man.
One more thing was, did you guys watch the PlayStation, the state of the play? I mean, you didn't miss much. People are saying like you could have just posted a paragraph and it would have been the same thing. One thing is Star Ocean. I think the last one was in like, when was the last Star Ocean game? Like 2016. They announced a new Star Ocean anime game. If you're interested in like JRPGs, Star Ocean has some potential, but that's like a long-term series. Like I think the first one is in 1996, and the last one is in 2016. So pretty big gap in between. And they announced like a new one coming in 2022, which is pretty cool. But we'll see.
And they announced another like a Five Nights at Freddy type thing.
Oh,
like,
really?
I literally don't care about it though at all.
Interesting. Anyways,
people love it.
I gotta pee so bad.
Yeah, dude, I'm dying. That's gonna be it for the episode. This is the Real Gamer Real Gamer Hour. We talk about all things gaming every Wednesday night at 9 p.m.
Hold on, don't stop.
I gotta pee. What?
We can say
what?
All right, we'll stop it.
No, you go. Just finish it.
I was just gonna say, don't we have to do like a advanced GG? We love advanced
sure.
GG. Code RGH.
Advanced GG. Use code RGH. Advanced.gg. Use code RGH. We love you.
You drink advanced GG, you're gonna have to pee as hard as these two idiots. So
Sheesh.
get it out, get it into your system, get it back out of your system, baby.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to sub
Oh,
for more, and we'll see you
and
next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Kackis
Oh my
HD
gosh.
20 for Manscaped. Get the body wash. Great stuff.
Could you
Bro,
let me do the
nothing-
goddamn outro?
That
You're not
outro-
going anywhere,
I'm
baby.
sick of this.
You're doing
This
sponsorship.
podcast is gonna die.
The outro isn't even safe from Kackis Interruptions, man.
Brother, I gotta
Nothing
do
is.
it. Because True Vanguard's hiding all the money. I gotta pay us somehow. I gotta get this editor paid.
Hey, what do you think funded that kayak?
Hey, what?
That's a nice kayak.
We need to have a
Bring it
meeting.
over, my old
We need to
buddy.
have a meeting.